Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Money Mindset Hub podcast, season 4, first episode of season 4. I'm your host, Carla Townsend, and I'm a money mindset and success coach for purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are ready to shatter their income ceilings and become rich and resilient. Welcome back. If you are new here, I am so excited that you're here. If you're an OG, I appreciate the hell out of you. Anyway, I'm so excited to kick this year off. This year, my mantra that I keep leaning into is just like, it's time to go big or go home. And I mean, here we are in my beautiful at-home podcast studio / office / place to escape from my 3 kids. Got my new mic here. I'm ready to go. I have some incredible guests lined up for you. I had an interview this morning that will actually drop on Thursday. So we're changing things up this year. We're going to do things a little bit different. And we're honestly, like I said, we're going to lean into the go big or go home. So every Monday, you're going to get a solo episode from me. And every Thursday, you're going to get a guest episode or a throwback to a previous episode that was really popular of mine that has so many golden nuggets in it that I just know that it's a really good reminder, because I know not all of you, unless you're an OG, not all of you would have heard previous episodes. And trust me, like, the audio quality has probably gotten better, and I have definitely gotten better over the years. So, it's cringeworthy when you go back and listen to first few episodes. You're like, oh my God. But progress over perfection, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. So anyway, before we dive into the 10 broke behaviors that we're going to be leaving behind in 2024, I just wanted to say, I hope that you had the most beautiful Christmas, New Year's with your loved ones. You got to disconnect, reconnect, reflect on the last 12 months, how things have gone, maybe the things that you didn't quite nail that you're really looking towards achieving this year. I just really hope that you're bringing this newfound energy to this year, because 2025 can honestly be the year that everything falls into place. And as many of my friends, family, beautiful clients will know, I always say the mantra that it's all coming together. It's all coming together. And I truly believe that. That is just a belief now, because I've said it so many times over so many years. It's all coming together. No matter what curveballs are thrown at us, everything is going to work out in the end just as it should, or better than what we imagined. So I really hope that you're going into this year with that kind of mentality, because I know that you're here to do incredible things, and the world needs what you have to offer. They need to hear you, and only in the way that you can do it. So let's dive in, because I have 10 behaviors that I have written down for you that I think are the most important, that we really need to leave behind. And we don't want to bring into 2025. We don't want to continue to bring this energy in. And don't worry, I've been guilty of this in the past as well. Many of these I'm like, oh, there were probably things that I could have done better. But this is, again, the beautiful reflection piece. And hopefully some resonate with you. So if they do, please let me know. Remember, you can find me everywhere at Money Mindset Hub. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. You can watch the podcast on YouTube if you didn't know, now you know. And obviously my website is moneymindset-hub.com, where you will find everything. My money quiz, ways to work with me. The podcast is also embedded on the website. Everything is there. Let's dive in. All right. So number 1 is impulse spending on non-essentials. We're going to get rid of the instant gratification. So instant gratification is where you buy something because you believe that it's going to give you a feeling of success, of happiness, whatever it might be that you're searching for at that moment. You buy things just for the sake of buying it to fill a void, whereas in actual fact, you're probably better off not buying that thing, because you may have regrets about buying it, or it can also become a pattern of behavior. I really want you to ask yourself deep down, before you buy something, do I really desire this? Or is it something that I want right now because I'm actually kind of in avoidance of something else? I'm just going to buy this in the hope that I get that dopamine hit when I get that item, that I will feel better. But in actual fact, it kind of spurs into this cycle of continual overspending and not getting to where you want to be. So it can be really detrimental to your financial success. It can be really detrimental for your goals. Sometimes it can be really challenging to get out of this impulse spending. And impulse spending is typically always attached to an emotion. So I really want you to ask yourself, first of all, why am I buying this? And 2, here's a hack for you. I want you to add it to your cart. I want you to wait 24 hours to see if you really want it. And if you don't want it, just leave it in your cart. Now, if you find that you do want it, handy hack for you is most vendors, especially e-commerce businesses, will send you a email with a code for a discount for whatever you left in your cart 24 hours ago. Just a handy hack. But I want you to put it there and leave it there. Obviously different when you're in the shops physically. I just want you to be able to reflect and stop yourself and ask yourself, why am I buying this? Do I really actually want this? Do I need this? Is it going to bring me closer to my goals or further away? Is there another way that I could actually fill that void? Whatever it might be that you're searching for in that moment. But if it is online, add it to your cart, leave it for 24 hours. And then if you come back to it, then you know you really want it or desire it or need it or whatever it is. But if you don't, you'll just let it go. And also, you might also get a little discount code. If you really want it, then you get a discount. So it's a win-win. Now, the reason I want you to do that is because there was actually a survey that was done by Slick Deals back in April 2020. And it found that the average American spends $182.98 per month just on impulse purchases, which is an increase from only a few months before then. Now, obviously, that was a time we were in the pandemic and things, so online shopping was a lot more. But let's just say, can you right now find yourself having a look at $200 worth of impulse spending? Maybe that $200 a month could be the big difference between you getting to your financial goals or not. So just have a look. Now, I always say to my clients, what you value will be in your bank account. So you could say you value health and travel and all these sorts of things, but then you actually look through your spendings, your bank account, the transactions, and all of a sudden you've spent all this money on KFC, McDonald's, all these other things, but you value health. However, you're spending an extraordinary amount of money every month. So just have a look because that brings awareness. And once you have the awareness, then that's when you can actually change. So just have a look at where you're spending your money because that tells me and tells you what you are valuing or where you're emotionally impulse spending. Second one is avoiding financial responsibility. Now, I know that can be a tricky one to swallow, but the fact is that most people want more money. They say they want more money, but they actually repel it because in actual fact, they don't really want the responsibility that they believe comes with more money. More money, more problems. We've heard that saying, but it's more like with more money comes different types of problems. With a more successful business is different types of problems. So honestly, if you are struggling to manage a smaller amount of money, it's going to be the same. The more money that you get, you're still going to have to manage it. There's still some sort of responsibility that comes with that. And there are people that you can get to help you with that. First off, you need to be really aware of where you're spending your money. So a really good thing is to actually literally just flick through your bank accounts. Now, I'm not someone that goes through every single one with a highlighter, like what have I spent, this and that, and budget everything to every dollar and cent. Who has time for that? But it is really good to bring yourself awareness to where am I spending my money and where can I actually take back a bit more responsibility? Because there could be more amounts of money there that you could save to get you further ahead. But then ask yourself, if I want more money, what's the worst thing that could happen though? Should that come true? Because sometimes there's actually deep rooted beliefs in the reason that you're actually repelling that money in the first place. And you think, I want more money, but I get it, I spend it. I always seem to never have enough. Like I seem to make really good money, but it's all of a sudden it's gone. Why? There's a responsibility piece there. It's not that you can't handle it. It's just that deep down, you need to be able to build that safety with money and feel responsible enough to be able to manage it better. And maybe you haven't in the past, but remembering your past financial behaviors, decisions, mistakes, that doesn't dictate what happens in the future. It doesn't dictate your financial decision at all. And I have seen that time and time again. I've seen it in clients where they had absolutely $0, like they were just barely scraping by. And then they've actually built their behaviors. They've worked on their relationship with money. They've improved. And next minute, they're flying them and their whole family over for a family holiday overseas with cash. No credit cards, with cash. And that come from having zero savings. So it can be done. Everything can be done. When there's a will, there's a way. It's another cliche one, but I do love it because I think that you are more resourceful than what you believe that you are. But where is that responsibility piece holding you back? Do you think that you will need to make bigger, harder decisions that you don't necessarily know how, should you have more money? And this is actually an awesome quote that I found from Warren Buffett. And he said, do not save what is left after spending. Instead, spend what is left after savings. It's that old golden rule of paying yourself first. So again, where you spend your money is what you value? And are you spending it on you and on your future? Third one, undercharging and over-delivering in your business. This charging piece really is tied into your money mindset and what you believe that you are worthy of charging, what you think you can charge, because honestly, you can charge whatever the hell you want. What feels comfortable for you, what feels safe for you, what feels like it's a yes. And not, I'm going to make myself so cheap that it's a no brainer, because remember, you're always going to be too cheap for someone or too dear for someone. So you have to pick a price based on what you value and based off how much work is actually going into that. Now, where I see a lot of women undercharging is because they underestimate the years that it took them to get to where they are. The tens of thousands of dollars that they spent on themselves, on their education, on coaching, on mentorship, on trial and error. There is so much that comes into someone's experience, and it is really hard to charge. However, there are ways to do it depending on what it is that you're offering. And obviously, yes, you can do competitor analysis and that can really help. However, don't charge what someone else is charging just because they're charging it. You need to be able to understand that your value, it doesn't just decrease based off of what someone else believes that you're worth. And I truly feel it's that number that gives you a little bit of a stretch. Because when you think, okay, I'll charge X amount, it's no brainer, that seems good, but it's not exciting, it needs to be a little bit on the verge. Again, depending on what you're doing, but I'm particularly talking to service-based business owners because that's who I usually coach and mentor. But it honestly just depends. So pricing, there's no real golden rules when it comes to pricing. Again, depending on whether you're a product-based business or a service-based business, but it needs to be worth your time and it needs to be exciting, especially if it's something live that you're running live. If you're not lit up to do it because you are literally barely scraping by, there's some things we need to do there. And don't worry, I do have resources that can actually help you with that. I do help clients actually go through and decipher what they should charge, how they should charge, how they build their offer suite and how they build their client journey and what to charge along the way and how it all makes sense and ties together. The fourth one is believing that you must hustle harder to make more money. This hustle culture mentality, I'm not going to say that it's necessarily a bad thing. I think that hustle's got a bad name. I think that hard work is necessary, but what's hard is very subjective to the person. I mean, when I think about hustling harder and harder and harder, it makes me think of burning out. I don't want you to burn out, but do I want you to hustle hard, put in the effort, put in the time? Absolutely, because if anything is really worth it, it takes effort. So whenever we speak to our kids about something that they're doing, so my daughter does acrobatics, loves it, puts in a lot of effort. And there's been lots of studies based off children and how it is really good to emphasize the effort that they actually put in. Not just always commend them for a great job, you did great, you're the best, you're doing so well. Actually commend them for the effort that they're actually putting in. So you did such a good job, you've worked really hard for this, you've put in a lot of effort and that's going to pay off. And you know what? You continue to put in this effort, you're just going to get better and better. You're going to get to that next level, whatever it is. There's been a lot of research that shows that kids that are always encouraged to put in more effort are the ones that succeed. The ones that are always told, you're doing great, you're the best, you're this, you're that, they tend to not put in as much effort because there's no growth. So let's say, for instance, my daughter, so she does acrobatics. So she would be doing her cartwheels, her splits, her back bends, everything every single day. Every single day at home, she'd be doing that. And then at the end of last year, her goal was to go up into the next level. Now, the next level is an invite-only class, but she put in so much work that she got invited into the invite-only class. And that was her goal that whole year. By the end of the year, I just want to get to the next class. I want to get to the next level. So she put in the effort and she did it. She achieved her goals. So she felt so good. The same thing comes when you work for yourself or whatever it is, whether it's some financial milestone you're going towards. When you put in that continual effort, then you get to reap the rewards and you continually grow and evolve and continue to get better and better and work harder to get the next thing. I think that hard work has copped a really bad rap recently, especially in the online space. You might have noticed it as well, but hard work seems to be this thing like that it shouldn't be done, that it's a bad thing if you're working harder and harder and harder. But remembering hard work is really subjective. I remember having a conversation with Mick, my husband, once, and he said, I think what you do is really hard because I couldn't do what you do. And I've had other family members say that to me as well. They're like, I could not do what you do. Like, I don't know how you've done this for 5 years. But for me, I feel like overall, it doesn't feel hard. I leverage my strengths. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I get support where I'm not the best at it or where I don't desire to improve. I just focus on what I'm really good at and my natural strengths. And that's what has helped me continue on and why I never see myself quitting. But hard is very subjective. So, a quick interruption just to let you know that this episode is sponsored by an incredible collaboration that I am doing with the incredible Nicole Towers, who is a fantastic human design expert. And we have created a program called Money Moves, the sequence to six figures. So, this collaboration has been in the making for quite some time. And now it just feels like it is divinely aligned to bring it together and put it out into the world to help as many women as possible. So, this is where we're going to blend the power of human design with wealth energetics and business mastery. So for those of you who are early stage entrepreneurs who are feeling stuck in the cycle of free downloads and cookie cutter strategies, this is your invitation to transformation, because the exhaustion of just trying everything without seeing the results that you really desire stops here. What makes this program really unique is the fact that you're not just getting one mentor, but two projectors who understand the depth of what it takes to really build a sustainable, aligned business. Nicole and I are both mothers, and we both bring our unique geniuses to this program. So Nicole's going to help guide you through your human design as your business compass, while I am going to help you unlock those deeper money blocks and step into your CEO mindset. So over 12 transformative weeks, we'll take you from feeling overwhelmed and scattered to becoming a confident, empowered CEO who trusts herself and her business decisions. You're going to learn how to create magnetic offers, build automated systems that work while you rest, and develop a wealth mindset that attracts so much abundance. The beauty of having two projected coaches is the fact that we just naturally go really, really deep. We're both very passionate about creating lasting transformation, not just quick fixes and not just following someone else's method, when we know that the key to success lies within you and your own unique way of doing things. So our combined expertise creates a powerful container for your growth, supporting you with both strategy and energetic alignment. So if you're feeling called to join us on this journey, then I invite you to get on the waitlist now for some pretty epic bonuses that you're not going to want to pass up. So simply visit the link in the show notes and we will let you know as soon as the doors open so that you can secure your spot. Now, let's get back to the episode. There is a very big difference between being productive and being busy. And being productive could mean setting a 90-minute timer on Google, shutting down every tab, putting your phone in another room and just doing those 3 things that you need to do for that day. That's it. That could be the most productive thing that you do. Less is more. That is what I've found in business, in life, in motherhood. Less is more. It's not always the big things that you think are going to be the biggest growth. It's actually the little compounding efforts that you put in every day or every week, whenever it is, whenever you have time, whenever around your children. It's those compounding efforts. They are the things that actually change your results. So in the case of my daughter, it wasn't the last class where she did the last back bend and cartwheel and splits and walkover. It wasn't the last one that was seen by the teacher that made her get invited into the next level up. It was the compounding efforts that she put in for several months, nearly every single day, to get to that, to see that progression over that amount of time. As long as you always know what you're working towards, your success is inevitable. Number 5, we are leaving behind living paycheck to paycheck, my friends. Now, if any of my fellow accumulators are here, that to you is also going to be like, why? Why are you doing that? But I understand the economic standpoint around the world. It can be really challenging. And there are a lot of people living week to week that maybe weren't previously living week to week. So let's just say, if you are living paycheck to paycheck right now, do not judge yourself. Don't make yourself wrong for it. It is okay. But if you do not desire to continue living paycheck to paycheck and you actually want to have more money overflow for whatever it is that you value in life, or investing in back in your business, growing it, pursuing your passions, whatever it is, you can do it, but you have to, again, start small with those compounding efforts. So back in 2023, it's not that long ago, but there was a study done. Data found that 60% of Americans reported that they were living paycheck to paycheck. 60%. That is huge. Now, I wish there was a lot more studies for my Australian ladies, but seems like the American studies are everywhere. So that was one I found, but I'm not surprised. And I would not be surprised if Australia was very much on par with that, because unfortunately, some people really struggle to get ahead. And I suppose that's the beautiful thing about being in business is you get to decide how much you earn. And yes, it's challenging. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it would be probably easier just to go work for someone else and you know what you're getting week on week. There isn't this like up and down all over the place for however long until you get things stabilized. But you can absolutely get out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle. It can be done. I've seen it done many times. If you desire it to be done and you commit to the process, it will happen. Just start small. Set up automations. They will be your best friend. I go through my entire method of how I do all this in my signature program, Rich and Resilient. And it doesn't matter what your money goal is, you can get there. Absolutely, you can get there. You just need to understand a few things and make it easy. The easier that you make things, the less resistance, the less control that you have to have over everything. It will just do what it needs to do. You just stick on the path. So, Benjamin Franklin once said this: a penny saved is a penny earned. Now, I'm all for saving. I do love saving, typical accumulator. I love seeing the cash stack. Who doesn't? But there is also a certain point where you've got to remember, are you hoarding? Are you saving? Do you struggle to spend? There's a whole lot of different avenues as well, which you'll notice where your beliefs come up around money, depending on if you're saving out of fear versus saving out of abundance, two different energies that you're playing in. If you are in the paycheck to paycheck cycle, how do you start to put away money or an accountability partner to support you to hit your financial goals? You've got to know your numbers, people. You have to know your numbers. You have to know what your non-negotiables are, your non-negotiables in your life and in your business. So then you know exactly what you have to be able to put away and what you can do, whether you've got to increase your income, whether you've got to negotiate a rise, whether you've got to create a new product or service or whatever it might be, whether you've got to raise your prices or sign more clients and put yourself out there. Whatever it is, you will start to find answers to improve your financial situation when you are aware of the numbers and what needs to happen. Number 6 is a fear of investing in growth. Now, I took so long to invest in myself into a space that would really raise my standards. So, into a mastermind. I did plenty of courses and programs and things like that, but it wasn't what I needed. I really needed to be surrounded by women who were doing big things, who thought the way that I thought and opened my mind up to the opportunities that were around me. And honestly, it's game changing, life changing, changed the complete trajectory of where I am now versus a few years ago where I thought that I would be. I always hoped that I would be in this position, but I didn't know. So being around other people who really spoke the same language was profound in my evolution. And I definitely know it's been the same in many of the ladies that I've built relationships with over the last 5 years in being in business for myself. So hesitating and not hiring someone to support you, maybe it's in your business, maybe it's getting the help. It's such a tough one. It honestly is, because I've had times in the past where I've got people to help me in my business and it hasn't really worked out as planned. And then other times, like now, I have the most incredible team who I am so grateful for. But this took time. It took time and you've got to learn. And managing people is really challenging, especially if you've never done it before. I, luckily enough, had been a manager back when I was 22. I'm really talking my age right now. But back when I was 22, I was a manager of up to 25 people at a time. So I started to get used to that leadership skills and all of that. However, doing it for yourself is very different too. So I just want you to think about what you're investing in, why you're investing in it. And there is such a thing as shiny object syndrome. I don't want you to have shiny object syndrome and be investing in this, that, and the other if it's not really going to support you. And trust me, I have wasted a lot of money and time and effort on courses and programs that I probably didn't need to. Not going to diss them because it's my decision and I think they're fantastic and they're fantastic for whoever needs them in that moment. But I think sometimes, especially at the beginning of my journey, I was looking for the answers outside myself until I realized that they were all within me. And I actually needed to trust my intuition a lot more. So typical 3-5 projector. I'm always the one that goes first and I learn and I make mistakes, and then I teach my clients not to do the same thing because I've learned the hard way, and I don't want them to have to waste their time and effort and money on the things that they probably don't need, but they don't know that they don't need because they haven't walked the path yet, or they're just on their journey. So I think that's the beautiful thing of also being able to reflect on how far you've come. So just think about investing in growth. And if it's something that you're going to invest in, always trust your gut, especially when it comes to a mentor. Please trust your gut when it comes to that. They'll say, your gut will tell you, yes, go for it, do it. And it'll be great. And remember, your mentor is never responsible for your evolution. Your mentor is not responsible for your results. You're responsible for your results. But when you have that mentality, and I know that you will, that mentality of, I know that I can do this. I just need someone to hold me accountable, who's walked the path, who can help me avoid so many mistakes and wasted time and wasted money on things that I don't necessarily need, to skip the line, basically, and to get you where you desire to go a lot quicker. That's the beautiful thing about mentorship. You really do jump hoops. And also, you get to meet incredible women who are on the journey that just expand your mind for the possibilities. That's remarkable. And that's something that honestly you cannot put a price on. So, another incredible quote from Warren Buffett, which I know you would have heard, said, "The best investment you will ever make is in yourself." So, number 7, we're closing in, people. We've only got a couple more to go. This is the 7th one, is believing that debt is always bad. Debt, in my eyes, is just a choice to pay something off over time. Now, is there good debt, bad debt? Subjective, right? It's subjective based off where you're at. Sometimes people do need to get into credit card debt to get some program or support or whatever it might be that is going to really enable them to just completely change their life. Would I encourage someone to go do that? Probably not. No, maybe this is just me. I am a financial counselor. I wouldn't encourage someone to go down that route just because consumer debt can be such a rabbit hole that is very easy to get out of hand. So if you do struggle with paying things off or getting ahead, or you just feel like you're constantly paying things off all the time, it's probably not the smartest move. Is there a way that you could just be a bit more resourceful to get the income first before you go and make those purchases? Is the purchase really necessary? Is it like dire straight? Do you have to have it right now, or can it wait? Patience is a virtue. I do believe that it will always pay off, depending on what it is. Okay. You've got to trust your gut again at the end of the day. But if you know yourself and you know that maybe you don't make the best decisions when it comes to money, is there another way to do it? Or can you practice patience and save up and pay for it? I think a really good rule of thumb to lean into is, if you have the money to purchase it, purchase it. If it's something that you have to pay off, then maybe wait until you save up and you can just pay for it. Sometimes personal loans sound like a good idea at the beginning, and then a few years in, it's like the things that you feel trapped by. So I really just think, ask yourself, is there any other ways? Like, there's different ways to make investments. So being qualified as a financial counselor, I know that there are a lot of grants, especially in Australia. I'm talking to my Australian women now, but there are a lot of grants that you can actually get to support you, whether you're going through financial hardship, whether you're starting a business. Go onto the government websites and look for the grants in your state to be able to do that first. That's always my first suggestion, is go and have a look at the grants that are available, because essentially that is free money to support you to do what it is you want to do, rather than leaning into consumer debt that lingers on. You end up paying a hell of a lot more than what you need to for that thing. And trust your gut and make smart choices. Whatever that smart choice is for you at the time, only you know your situation. Number 8, let's stop comparing ourselves to others. This might seem like a very obvious one, but I think in the world of social media now, don't get me wrong, I love a highlight reel. Like, that's why I have social media on there, is not just to connect with you, but the people that I follow and things, I'm seeing their highlights. I'm expanding my mind for what is possible. I don't read any doom and gloom. I don't watch the news. I don't read the news. I don't watch horrors. I fill my mind with possibilities. And so my feed on Instagram, for instance, so empowering, so enlightening, and so abundant. Like, it inspires the hell out of me. But if you're still working on that self-worth piece and that self-confidence piece, it's really easy to look at other people and look at other businesses and think, they're so much further ahead than me. I should be there. Why am I not there yet? But at the end of the day, you don't know anyone's real situation. Now, it's not about saying, oh, well, maybe they've already got a lot of money behind them, or maybe they grew up rich, or maybe they just had different opportunities, or maybe they're lucky. Not about that. I'm not saying that. I don't want to have that attitude at all. But it is realistic sometimes. Some people have just different situations. Some people have different leg ups, same as you. Sometimes you might get a leg up that other people think, oh, geez, that would have been nice. Not in a bad way and not to dish you, but I just think you never know someone's full story, and you should just take everything with a grain of salt and just focus on yourself. Focus on your life, where you're going, what you're creating. Don't worry about other people in the race that they're on, because they're only on their own race. And I say this to my children all the time, and I'm going to say it to you, but you are only in competition with yourself, with the version of you yesterday. You just want to be a little bit better than what she was. Make a bit better choices. Be in a little bit better of a financial situation than what you were. Not about anybody else. We don't care about anyone else in a loving way. We send them love and wish them well, but I want you just to focus on you and not worry about other people. And if you find yourself just like doom scrolling and you're just really feeling yourself be defeated as you're scrolling, stop doing it. Just stop scrolling. It honestly, it's such a dopamine hit. That's why it's so addictive, right? There's so many studies. That's the reason why the apps are designed the way that they are, because it's a dopamine hit and we get addicted to it. I mean, God, you give your kids an iPad for 10 minutes and they're just like, go off tap for a half hour. So we know what it's doing to a child's brain. It's doing the same to ours. So if you find yourself scrolling like that, stop, pause, interrupt, set a little reminder. That's actually what I have on Instagram too. It sets a timer. So I'm only allowed to be on Instagram for about 20 minutes a day. And most of the time I'm not even on that much, to be honest. I'm really not on social media that much. Theodore Roosevelt said, comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're finding yourself comparing and it's making you feel defeated, then you're the one that needs to put the blockers in place to stop you from doing that. Delete the apps, choose to take the weekends off, unfollow people that are triggering you. And also just remember too, if people are triggering you, it's a sign. So if you don't know what you want, ask yourself, who's triggering me and what triggered me about them? What was it that they had or did or experienced? Because that actually shows you what you desire deep down. And it might still be in your shadow side, so you haven't fully acknowledged it, or maybe you haven't fully accepted it yet, but I promise you it's there. All right, number 9 is thinking about someday. I remember Oprah said, if not now, then when? My mother-in-law said it to me when she decided to go and drop the weight. She said that Oprah saying really stuck with her. And whenever she told me that years ago, it stuck with me too. I thought she's so right. If not now, when? Because there's a lot of theories around to say that, time is an illusion. You only actually have right now. And if we're thinking in terms of the quantum, the only moment we have is this very moment. There's no past, there's no future. It's only in the now. So if not now, when? I think it's a really beautiful thing to think of. And also, if not you, then who? Because I truly believe, hand on heart, that you were born to make a difference. And whatever is on your heart to achieve or experience or do or create, it's on your heart for a reason, and you're supposed to live it out. You're supposed to create it. You're supposed to share those beautiful gifts with the world. So if you don't do it, or you keep putting it off, again, morbid way of looking at it, but one day might never come. And that's the sad reality. But I know that you're here to build a legacy. So what is that for you? What is your legacy? And you're not doing yourself any favors, or the people that need you and need you to step up. You're not doing them any favors either, because they're waiting. And they'll forever be waiting the longer that you put it off and keep thinking like someday, someday I'll do that, or one day I'll do that, or one day I'll go on this holiday. One day I'll do this. Like, how many stories have we heard about, poor people that either wait till their retirement to go on their trips and, get the caravan, travel Australia, or go overseas and see the thing. And then all of a sudden they retire and their husband or wife gets sick and ill and they can't do the things that they've waited their entire life to do. Now, I don't know about you, but one of the biggest drivers to even start my business and put myself out there and open myself up was because I do not want to live with regrets. And I do not want to get to the end of my days, because I will be pissed off if I get to the end of my time and I have regrets about things that I didn't do, I wish I had done. And I don't want you to be like that either. So let's not put things off, and let's not think about one day. What can you do today to get one step closer to the thing that you want, to becoming the version of you that you desire to be, the woman that you're proud of, the one that you know is down within you? Just do one thing today that you can do, and do not lose track of that vision, because that vision is yours for a reason. Anyway, hopefully that was the kick up the ass that you needed. Anyway, last one. Number 10. The last thing that we're going to leave behind in 2024 is feeling guilty around money. Wanting money, spending money, saving money, investing money, having money, expanding money, whatever it is, leave all that bullshit behind because we don't need it anymore. If you desire to have more money, you cannot be feeling guilty about having it. If you want more, but you feel guilty about having it, spending it, saving it, whatever it might be, why would you get more? Why would the universe give you more? Because you're subconsciously repelling it or consciously repelling it. So we need to stop doing that because we need to start embracing money as just a tool. It is literally just a tool and it wants to be used and it wants to be experienced and it wants to help you thrive and to create this beautiful life and business that you have always dreamed of. It is just a tool. So let's not hang it over our head anymore and let's just take it off the proverbial pedestal that we've probably pasted on and know that we don't need to feel guilty about it. Like, do I feel guilty that I have this pen? No. Would I feel guilty if I gave this pen to somebody else? No. Would I feel guilty if I traded this pen for something? No. So why do we feel like that when it comes to money? Feel guilty. Pretend my pen right now, if you can see this on YouTube, pretend this pen right now is $1 million. Should I feel guilty around having $1 million in my hand? Should I feel guilty about donating it to someone? Should I feel guilty about giving it to someone to invest in something that I really want to see improve and thrive? Or do I feel bad about like putting this $1 million and buying my dream home for my family to enjoy for the rest of their life? No. So let's stop feeling guilty about the money. The more money that kind-hearted women of the world have, the better the world will be. Not just women either. Obviously, I do have daughters and I do have a beautiful son and a husband and love all that. But I predominantly work with women and I think most of you listening are women. So here we are. But the world needs more kind-hearted women and people like you with deep pockets. So let's stop feeling guilty about the money we have, the money we desire, the money that we want, the money that we spent, the money that we invested, even the money mistakes that we've made. Let's not feel guilty about that. Clean slate. 2025, the year of being a clean slate. It's time to go big or go home. So with all that said, everything you desire and deserve is just on the other side of your own resistance. And like I said, the world needs more kind-hearted women like you with deep pockets. So keep moving forward and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the incredible future episodes and guests that we have coming up for you. And if you haven't already subscribed to our email list, be sure to do so because we have some pretty epic things coming this year, as well as a mini magazine that will be sent to our subscribers every single month to help you with all things money and mindset, personal development, and entrepreneurship to help support you on your journey. So until next time, the world needs more kind-hearted women like you with deep pockets. So keep moving forward and never give up. I'll catch you in the next episode.